Okay, we are live. Welcome to a pilot episode of Quantitative Value and Momentum Investing with your host, Tal Davidson, streaming to you live from my home office in Givat Ada, Israel, on this Sunday evening. In this series of videos, I'm going to walk you through my investment process, how I source new stock ideas, how I keep track of my portfolio, and how I make buy and sell decisions. A few words about my investment style if you're not familiar with me or my website, taldavidson.com. I am a quantitative value and momentum investor, which means that I'm investing in a diversified portfolio of stocks for the long term, based mostly on their fundamentals. Nevertheless, recently I added the use of a little bit of technical analysis to my style as a secondary factor, mostly to improve my timing of buy and sell decisions. I source stock ideas using the value and momentum strategy screeners that I developed through many years of deep research and made public in taldavidson.com. I then use some technical analysis to time my entries and exits as a secondary decision factor. In this series of videos, I will show you exactly how I do that. I invest my own hard-earned money through 4 portfolios. One is an IRA account, free of taxes. The second and third are taxable accounts. And the fourth one is dedicated entirely to Bitcoin. Today, I'm going to monitor 2 of my accounts. I'll go over each one of my stock holdings and ask the question, should I hold on to the stock or get rid of it? How I do that will become clear as I go along. So without further ado, let's get straight into the list of my stock holdings. So the way that I monitor my account is that I have a Google spreadsheet, and you see here I have a tab for each one of my account. The Bitcoin account is not listed here. So I'll start with my IRA account and then move to the taxable account. And my other taxable account, this is something that will remain undisclosed for the time being. In future videos, I'll go over my candidate wish list of stocks and show you exactly how I source new stock ideas and how I make decisions on which stocks to buy and when. But today I'm going to go over the list of holdings that I already have and look at their technical chart and basically ask the question, do the stock still have an upside potential, or should I dispose of them and make some room for other stock holdings, better opportunities? So let's get started. The tool that I'm using to look at the technical situation of a stock is TradingView. And the way that I'm going about to do that is I'm going to go over each of the stock holdings. You see, like the first one is ALSN. The last close is on 20 August with the price on August 20th. This is a value stock, so V stands for value, M for momentum. And then whenever I go over a stock, I write a short update, short verbal update, a short written update, just to not forget the next time my thinking about the stock. So just a few words, 1 or 2 sentences, because I think that if you don't write anything, then you can't keep track of that, and you can't validate or invalidate your line of thinking. So this is very important, and you'll see how I do that. So let's start with the first stock holding in my IRA account. This is ALSN. Let's see the situation. So I'm trading the weekly charts because I want to be invested for the long term. And I'm using the daily charts just to time my entries and exits, but I always start from the weekly chart. So let's see how the weekly situation looks for ALSN, Edison Transmission Holdings. So actually, it doesn't look very well. This is something that I marked for selling and probably didn't do that, or maybe I have. I'm not sure that I'm holding an ALSN anymore. Anyway, this is, you see that it has broken the trend line. So this is a clear sell. So I'll check if I've done that already, but just in case, I'm marking it as a sell. And this is something that when market open, I need to go and sell it because basically it has broken the lower trend line and seems to be going down. Now, my next is CX. You see, CX is my next holding. And last time I wrote it, I wrote watch, sell if breaks the triangle. Let's see if it has done so. Now, the weekly chart is a little bit hard to determine because I can maybe draw my trend line, my lower trend line like this, or if I use the close prices, so like this. So basically, I need to go to the daily chart and see the situation with the CX. Okay, so I'll just make my TV sequential as hidden. And then what I see here is that we can probably adjust the trend line. This is not a clear break of the trend line. The trend line can be adjusted and the stock is correcting and still may go upside if it finds support using this trend line. So this is still something to watch, but not a clear sell. I don't want to sell in a hurry. And there's no reason to be stressed. Okay, we're holding the stock for the long term. In the long term, there will be correction. So this still looks like correction. The volatility seems to be contracting a little bit. So it can go either way. Either it breaks down and then we will sell it, or it moves higher and breaks the resistance line. And then this was just a normal correction and we'll continue holding it. So my verdict here is watch, sell if breaks down trend line. And I marked it as a yellow. Yellow are things that I want to look at closer. So even if I have just a few minutes during the week, so I'll go and check the yellow first. And it focuses me on the stocks that are higher priority to watch than the white ones. Let's look at DRTT. Okay, so DRTT, let's start with the weekly chart. DRTT is an M, meaning this is a momentum stock. And the question is, has the momentum faded or is there still some upside potential? What we see here based on the weekly chart is that the stock has found some support in the previous upper swing high, and it seems to be a support. In order to be more accurate, let's go to the daily chart and see that indeed the previous resistance line we see here is acting now as support. So we have to continue watching this stock. If this holds as a support line and the stock goes higher, yes, we're going to continue holding it. If it breaks down this support line and even breaks down the 200-day moving average in yellow here, then we are going to sell. So this should be a yellow stock. It's consolidating. Watch for breaking the support lines, meaning that my previous update still holds. No change in that. And the next one is EBF. EBF on the weekly chart. So EBF, a value stock, seems to have found a support with the 200-week moving average and has recovered since. So my previous update, the correction may be over, supported by moving average going up, seems to still hold. So no change in that, no drama. And I can move on to my next stock holding, IMKA. On the weekly chart, this seems to be moving up. It was correcting for a while, Then it moved up with a very nice candle with high volume 3 weeks ago, or 2.5 weeks ago. And then it continues to move up above to break the previous swing high. And so no worries about that one. I'm going to keep the previous update. It's about to break the resistance at 67 and hopefully go up. A white update, and I'm safe to move on to GIS. GIS, we see that the triangle, the trend line, the lower trend line provided support. That's very good. And now it's going up. It will probably hit the upper trend line. And then these kind of stocks can go either way. Most chances it will break up and continue its uptrend, but it can also break down, and in this case, I'll sell. So it's consolidating, but supported by the lower triangle bound. The update still holds, no drama in that. And let's go to the next one, MBII. Last time I wrote that it needs to be sold because it broken down major support. And we see today that the price is lower than my previous update, so this is still a sell. And I do need to execute that as soon as the market opens. MO is Altria, the cigarette company. And what we see here is that my latest update on August 12th was that it's about to break the trend line. Let's see if it has broken the trend line already or not. That will become clearer with the daily charts. It seems to have broken the trend line. Okay, I mean, there's no way to adjust it further. It has broken the trend line, the 14-day moving average and 50-day moving average very clearly. And then the previous resistance has become a support line, which is very natural. And now what I anticipate is Altria to continue on an uptrend. So my update would be broken up trend line, resumed uptrend. So definitely this is a KIP. Now ALSN, last time I wrote it as a watch with 3 exclamation marks. And my update was sell if it goes below triangle lower bound. That was on August 12th. Let's see what happened since. Okay, so I'm still on the daily charts. And what we see here is that few days ago there was like a false breakout and the stock recovered, but then it is testing again the trend line. It is testing again the trend line. Most chances that it will break down. Most chances it will already broken or it will break down. We see also the bearish cross here. And I think that this stock is clearly not going up again. It is testing again the support line and it will break it again. And with this bearish cross, I don't see a reason to hold it anymore. So this becomes a sell. The stock has stopped its upward trend. It's consolidating. It's broken its trend line or about to break it again. Sell, breaking down trend line. Basically, there's no reason to continue holding this stock. It's a momentum stock, and the momentum has already faded. So that's a sell, and I mark it with a red. ALSN is a sell. The next stock is TUSK, an energy company, and TUSK has gone down for quite a bit. Let's look at the weekly chart. Okay, so TUSK was recovered from the March 2020 lows, recovered quite nicely. I think over 6x or maybe 10x, which is very nice. And it has been correcting since February this year. It hasn't reached the lower lows, hasn't reached the March 20 lows, which is a good sign because maybe it's a beginning of an upward trend which can be significant. Nevertheless, the question is, will it stop, consolidate, and go up, or is it doomed to continue its downward trend? And I don't know. Let's look at the daily charts. So the lower trend line can be corrected to be like a straight line. It's not an even triangle, but that's okay as well. If it breaks through the previous swing low, I mean, if it breaks through the $3 level or the 3 dot something dollar level, then this is a source for concern. But as of today, there are many bearish signs. The question is it bottoming out or is it continuing its downward trend? And I don't know. This one is something, since we see that, in the last trading day, it's kind of bounced from this support line. So I'm kind of ambivalent about whether it will go up or not. So I want to put it as a yellow. Watch sell if breaks the lower triangle. I'll put it on the watch list and watch it carefully. Sell it if it breaks, but if it recovers, it still has a chance to break up the trend line and resume its upward journey. So this one is a yellow. Let's go to the next one, SENEA. Okay, and start from the daily charts. Okay. The stock is slightly correcting from its lows on March 2020, the COVID-19 outbreak. Since then, it has moved up 2x, has been correcting for the last 6 months. And now, look at the averages. The moving averages are slightly going up. The stock definitely has a chance to accelerate and go upward. I'm not selling it as of yet. It seems to have found some support, went up, correcting again, and I'll want to watch how the situation unfolds. I'm not quick to sell it as of yet. So I would write, my update would be it's consolidating. Let's say it's correcting, but may be resuming its uptrend in a few weeks. Okay, the next one is ARLP. ARLP is recovering from very steep declines. It has bottomed for a long while, went sideways for a long while, and after a long while of going sideways, broken through the resistance and started moving up. So it's in the beginning of an upward trend. You see that the moving averages are slowly starting to move up. it still seems to be accumulating. Volatility is low. It gains slowly by slowly more grounds, but seems that investors are accumulating it, and it still has a high potential to continue its upward trend. This is one is on an upward trend, slow but sure. There's no reason to sell it. Let's go to the next stock, which is Lakeland Industries. Now, Lakeland Industries is a stock with a lot of potential. You see that after a long while, after years of trading sideways, it has broken up significantly. Went from 10 to more than 40, 50, that's 4 or 5x. And correcting since the beginning of the year. I think I bought it a few weeks ago and it seems to be going up. It has been correcting for the last 3 weeks, but nevertheless, the trend line marked by the lows of May 20th and June 21st, June 21 has not been breached yet. So it's possible that this stock correction will come to an end and the stock will continue on an upward trend. So my previous update, upward trend correcting, stays relevant, and I'm keeping this stock and ready to move on to the next one, which is CMT. Okay, CMT seems to be on an upward trend since March 20th, like many other stocks, and correcting for the last several weeks, like many other stocks. But still, this seems to be a normal correction. There's no source for alarm yet. There will be source for alarm if it breaks through the moving averages, and then I would think twice. But as things look right now, there should be a support level around the previous swing high, which is around where we are today. And I would need to wait and see where things go. So, nevertheless, I want to put the stocks on a yellow list because if it breaks down, then I may want to sell it in an early stage and not wait out for more declines. So watch if support line holds or breaks. So that enters the yellow list. The next one is QDEL. Okay, QDEL was started its move up in 2016, gained a lot of grounds. I mean, this was a 10x stock. Hit a top. This is a topping, going down very severely, but not down to the to the absolute lows. So that's a good sign. Seems to be supported by these 200-week moving averages. You see it once, twice, and now maybe in the third time. But anyway, this still has potential to be supported by the 200-week moving averages and move up. So my verdict would be correcting. Watch if supported by the 200 MA on weekly. Let's put it on the yellow list. Okay, a few more stocks to go. Next one is Argo. Okay, Argo on a weekly scale seems to be like a normal correction. No reason to be alarmed. That's a hold. Previous update still stands. Next one, SBT. SBT seems to be breaking. Wow, this is nice. Breaking the resistance line marked by the previous swing highs, broken up the 200-day moving averages, bullish cross with the 14 and 50-day moving average, and some sort of large volatility correction during the last week. But nevertheless, this chart looks bullish. This chart looks bullish, and this one actually looks good, and I'm happy on how the chart looks like. It has an upward potential. So broken up trend line, resumed uptrend. This is what I think about these stocks today. So SVT is a hold. Next one is MSN. Okay, MSN doesn't look very well. MSN doesn't look very well. It started an uptrend and since March 20, it's been correcting since severely. Let's look at the daily chart. Found the support with the TD sequential support line and had 3 green days, 3 good days. We'll want to wait out and see how it unfolds. So that's a watch to see if upward trend resumes or breaking down support. That would enter my yellow list. RWLK. RWLK doesn't look good at all on the daily chart. Seems to be going down and there's no bottom in sight. Although on a daily chart, we see here the TD countdown signal marking a potential bottom, and also the doji stars 3 days in a row, which means that the bottom may already be here. So we should look and see what happens in the next few days. And maybe that's a bottom. So we'll want to keep a very close look on that. Watch if bottomed or still going down. So that would be a yellow one with a bold font, meaning very high priority to see how the situation unfolds. In any case, I'm not in a hurry to sell it. I already lost probably during the last few days, dependent on what price I bought it in, which I don't know today, and it's not relevant today. But I don't want to be in a hurry because if it has bottomed, then the upside can be significant. The next one is DSX. Okay, DSX, let's start with the weekly scale. DSX has been correcting for several weeks and seems to be consolidating now with very low volatility. And when this happens, up, down, consolidation, it usually means that a significant upward move is coming. And this is a one to wait. So consolidating after correction. This is one that I think it looks bullish. Most chances it will resume its uptrend. Let's look at the next one, MESA, MESA. Oh my God, goes down so severely. And the question here, marked by this support and resistance line, will this support line hold? For that, we'll have to look at the weekly scale. Well, the support, the actual swing high, the support did not hold, but there's a TD sequential support line, which we see provided some support, at least based on the last daily candle, and also a TD setup indication, TD sequential, P9 indication. So the bottom may be here. So this one is to watch very closely. And I'm not sure I'll add up to it as I've written previously, but I want to watch it carefully. NHC on a weekly scale. NHC has broken up the trend line, correcting a little bit because every resistance turns into support. Or not every, but many times resistance turns into support. So that's very natural. And this looks like a bullish case. And we see here a bullish cross. We see that the 50-day moving average is turning bullish again. And this is a stock to hold. So I'm keeping the previous update accumulating, can go higher, hold, seems to be still relevant. Next one is Russia. Rush Enterprises on a weekly scale seems to be on an uptrend, correcting, and then resuming uptrend, smaller correction, supported by the 50-week moving averages, and may go up as well. So my verdict is correcting on an uptrend. And the next one is TAT, which I bought recently because it's correcting on an uptrend. And there's no change in my thinking that TAT, also based on fundamentals, actually researched this stock more deeply, has a very high upward potential, at least 2x upward potential. It's been correcting. The whole stock market has been correcting as of late, but this is a bullish pattern. It has emerged from lows, tried to break up higher, corrected, and it will try again. It will move higher than these levels again. So that's a hold. It's still correcting on an upward trend. And now for some recent buys. I just bought them last week. So let's see their situation. We'll start with IMKA. Okay, on an upward trend, bullish, correcting, as broken its resistance, so it's moving up. So this is something to hold. Broken resistance, resumed upward trend. That's definitely a keep. Now the next one is LBTYK, Liberty Global. Liberty Global has broken the previous swing high, but this was a false breakout. And it during the last week it corrected down to the moving average, the 14-week moving average. And the question is, was it a false breakup and it's going down from here and on, or is the support valid and it will continue going up? The way it seems here, it's still consolidating, it's still trying to break. The previous break was unsuccessful, but still it is finding support with the 50-day moving average on a daily scale. And I think it can still go up. So I would say watch if 50 moving average on daily holds, sell if breaks down. Consider adding if resumes uptrend. Two more stocks to go. Panel on a daily scale seems to be resuming its upward trend. You see the nice support that the 50-day moving average provides. On a weekly scale, the 14-week moving averages provide the support. We see the last week was good for a panel, and this seems to be a bullish pattern. So the verdict is an upward trend. The last one on this portfolio is Double I. Double I definitely on an upward trend, and I think I bought it on 661. 661 was here. So around those levels, it's still on an upward trend. So definitely I'm keeping it. And by that, we monitored all the stocks on my IRA account. And since this video is getting so long, what I'll do is I'll call it a day today. And in the next video, I'm going to look at my taxable account, monitor it, and maybe even search for new investments. I do have quite a bit of cash in this portfolio because the stock holdings, although I have about 26 stock holdings, and they're not more than 4% of my portfolio. And I have quite a bit of cash in my taxable account. So next time, let's go over the taxable account and also look for some new stock candidates to purchase for those accounts. So with that, thank you very much for watching. And if you want to know when is my next video coming out, the only thing you can do is subscribe to this channel and click on the bell button below, because I'm not planning it. Whenever I have time, I just stream live. And if you want to know when that happened, click the bell button so you get an indication. And thank you very much and have a good day. Bye-bye.